Yeah.
All right, so I'm here with Della. Della, how old are you?
I'm 34.
Are you originally from Arizona?
No, I'm from New Mexico.
What part of New Mexico?
I was born in Albuquerque, grew up in Peru, graduated from Gallup, and live in Farmington.
And what brings you out here to Arizona?
Of course, cheap drugs.
Straight to the point, huh?
Straight to the point. Stuff that you buy over here for $1, they buy over there for $10 to $15 a piece. But now I just found out that they're giving out life sentences, or what is it called? People. Dang it, I can't think of the name. I don't know. I don't remember. Dang it, I messed up.
What's your current situation right now? Are you homeless?
I am homeless.
How long have you been homeless for?
A few months. I'm homeless back home, but it's different when you know people, or when you grew up somewhere your whole, or you've been somewhere for 15 years and you kind of have people that have your back, versus coming to a state where you don't really know anyone and ain't nobody care about you. I had an old-time friend that I hadn't seen in about 6 to 7 years, and I happened to run into him at the casino, and during that time I had become an addict, and it just so happens he had like a quarter pound. So once I saw him, I was like, oh, not only did I miss him, but now he had a super fat stack of what I liked or what I did, and so it caused me to come more frequently. And then once everybody got hooked on the blues and realized how much they were going for and how much money you could make, then it brought me here, which having addiction, I also have a casino addiction along with shoplifting and everything else, and I had about $3,500 of someone else's money, and I blew it at the casino, and
In one night?
in one night, in one setting, not even realizing, what you do, leaving there without cigarettes, out of gas, and now you owe that much money. And so I've been out here for probably 3 or 4 months and not going home for that reason, because I refuse to go home until I can face that person face to face and have their money like a real person's supposed to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What do you do out here to survive?
I shoplifted for 17 years of my life, but I just got caught stealing $800 at Home Depot, and I've been caught in New Mexico, Arizona, Texas. The last time I was caught in Texas, they told me my next misdemeanor shoplifting would be a felony, and so just recently I got caught with $800 in my basket at Home Depot. So it really messed up my hustle. Now I'm kind of scared to go shoplifting, and I was working. I got this app on my phone, and I was cleaning the baseball stadium for the Phoenix Suns, which was awesome. But there was like 22 people who started, and there was only 7 people at the end of the night, because that job was so hard, cleaning the stadium, the stairs, just sweeping, mopping it, whatever. It was a pretty difficult job, and not having a job for 5 years. When I left there, I was one of the 7 that had finished, but I left there literally crying, and I was just like, looked at all the concession stands, and I'm like, well, why ain't I doing that? Why ain't I bartending that or making money from there, So I downloaded a different app, and I got to do the concession stand for the LA Dodgers and the Diamondbacks game. And I kicked ass. I worked 4 hours. I made $250 in tips. But my background came back, and because I have shoplifting, then I didn't pass it, so I can no longer do that. So here I am working on Van Buren.
That sucks, man. And so you're out here doing dates on Van Buren?
Yeah. And I'm talking I started by, because I'm a big girl, and self-esteem issues, and I started with an online, mega personals that kind of put you out there on all the sites, and I was making pretty good money then, $100 head, hey, that seemed like pretty good quick money, Now really realizing that you were just setting yourself up just to disrespect yourself more, But being out here, they kick you out of that, and then you have no other choice when no one will hire you because of your record. I'm not a bad person. I don't rob people. I've shoplifted in my life to survive, and for them to hold that against you is crazy. But out here people want to spit in your face and want to smack you around and give you $25 as they fuck you in the ass. It's crazy. It's hard. Homeless people are everywhere, and it's just you're on those blues and stuff, and nothing.
How much were you making on the personal site?
Shit, to give somebody head $100.
Like in general, like in a day.
I never pushed myself that hard. I would just make, a little bit of money to get what I needed for the day,
Or something? Like 200
Um,
bucks a day or something?
shit, easily, you know, easily you could make $1,000, you know, in a day. You know, you can make $300 not even trying. But then, like I said, once that's over, you're kicked out here, and I mean, what turn? You know, you could. I mean, I made $700 one time giving a gentleman head, and actually I had seen him a second time, and he gave me 600 times the second time. Well, hey, that's great and amazing money, you know. To get that kind of money out here, to make $700, you'd have to probably see 30 cars, you know.
Yeah.
But
So the going rates on Van Buren are a lot less than
oh yeah,
online, right?
for sure. I mean, like I said, head was, you know, I was making $100 for a head. Here you're lucky if you get 40 for a head. You know, like I said, people want to degrade you and pay you $25 to for everything. You know, stick it in any hole you have. You know, like it's crazy.
You don't get scared when you're out there walking around in the streets?
Oh yeah, there's so many. Just the other day, a really nice lady I had met. She had just gotten out of the hospital released because some black guy raped her, you know, and she fought for her life and she got away from him. But like, you know, I've had many black men trying to be my pimp, you know, acting like they own me, you know, when I'm my own person. But it's kind of scary when when some people know that you're not from here and that, you know, you're a pretty girl. I mean, I don't look so pretty right now, but I can look pretty, you know,
Yeah.
and they think that you belong to them and they want you to get out there and make that money, and they say that they have your back and will protect you. But how are they going to protect you when they're not getting in the car with you, you know? I met this lady the other day and her shoe was real like funny looking on her foot, you know, and I was like, do you need some new shoes, or like what's the deal with your shoes, you know? And she was like, well, I only got a half of a foot. And I'm like, a half of a foot? So she took off her shoe, you know, and she was literally missing her the entire top of her foot. And she said that she had been raped and she kicked the window out and had jumped out of like a 2-story building, you know, to get away from this guy. And like, um, you know, I've had the guys that have been trying to be my pimp and stuff just telling me like, you know, you need me out here because do you understand how many, like, there's been 4 deaths this week that you ain't even heard about, you know? And like I guess, hey, you know, fire trucks, ambulance, cops going by, and it's like, what happened there, you know? Oh, you know, somebody was beaten to death or raped to death, and
So they
it's
pretty
just,
much tried to scare you to work for them.
yeah, and that you need them for, you know, to be protected, and give them all your money for them to, you know, regulate on how much dope you use, or
Have you ever been with a pimp, or have you always been independent?
always been independent, and really, I've been a drug addict my whole life, and like I said, my hustle was shoplifting. I just started this whole just selling myself thing. But just that, okay, so like I ended up on Van Buren because I was at Arizona Mills Mall and I wasn't doing too bad. I was sitting at the bus stop. I had 150 pills on me, you know. This guy was like, "What are you doing? Like, how come you don't have no money in your pocket? Like, you could be doing good." And I mean, he was suave, you know. He was con.
Selling you a dream.
I mean, straight up. I mean, everything that you wanted at one time to hear, or that, you know, you're missing in your life. And it was like, you know, the things he was saying just kind of completed anything that you just ever wanted to hear, you know. Like, it's amazing. Like, it was crazy, you know. And I mean, it was so good. It allows you to follow them, and you don't even realize, like, you know, you're following them into, you know, ending up on Van Buren Street to walk, you know, for him to stand there and be like, okay, now walk 24th to 32nd Street, and just if you're worried about it, or if you have, you know, second thoughts about it, just see how many times a car stops you. Just think about every time a car stops, how much money you could be making and how much money that can go into our pocket. Because, you know, you give me the money and I'm going to put it aside I'm going to build it up, that way you can get off the streets and have a better life. That's what they say. Anyways.
Why can't you just do that by yourself? Why do you need somebody to manage your money?
You don't, but I've had issues out here because of that reason. Because well, you know, he ended up taking my ID. He ended up taking my phone. Like I said, when I met him, I had 150 pills. I mean, I might not have money, but I had pills. Pills is money, you know. And every time that I seen him, I just did a little worse, because every time he was able to con me out of whatever I had in my pockets. If it was, you know, a way he made me feel like he was protecting me at that moment, you know, I gave him and had him hold my stuff for me, or you know, whatever the situation was. But just the other day, this guy had taken me to take a shower, and I was sick, and he gave me a blue, and he'd been trying to collect, like, telling me I owe him $100, you know, and I'm like, straight for like a week. He had came to me three separate times asking me for the $100, and I'm like, I don't owe you $100. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? You did that out of the kindness of your heart, bro. You gave me a fucking shower and took me out of the sun for a couple hours. Hell no, ain't nobody doing nothing for free, you know. So I straight told him like I didn't owe him nothing, and I was sitting at the air pump next to the gas station, and here comes this chick. She's about a foot taller than me, 30 pounds heavier than I am, and she comes stalking me like 4 times. Well, I managed to get her on the ground with me, and here we are like wrestling around, and she's a big chick, you know. She had me pinned down to the ground pretty good. Well, my back was like hanging off the curb, and I'm like screaming, like fucking my back, bro, like my back's hurting. Well, she's like on top of me, and she's literally choking me out. And the dude's digging in my bra, stealing my money, you know what I mean? And still comes at me an hour later, like I got a goose egg on my head right now from it. And the dude comes at me an hour later and tells me that ain't nothing, I better have his money. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I didn't owe you in the first place. And you just you just came at me crazy like that and took my money out of my bra, like I still owe you, you know? So, and he really had the audacity to ask me if I was ready to try again. And I'm like, try again, you know? Because we could be a team, you know, we could team up, because it's a lot better when you have three people working together than working, you know, when it's just yourself.
Yeah.
That's crock of shit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yep.
Let me ask you, how was your life growing up? How was your childhood?
You know, like, it's crazy because I had the log cabin. My neighbors is what you would call white trash, you know. But I never wanted to go home. I always wanted to be at my neighbor's house, you know. I'd wake up with thousands of bug bites all over me. The house was filthy, but I'd rather be there any day than be at my own home, you know, because my mom always had drug addict boyfriends or drunk boyfriends, you know, and she was a judge and she was always at work, and so I got to basically do whatever I wanted, anytime I wanted. I was 11 years old, snorting lines of cocaine that went all the way across the table, one up one nostril, one up the other nostril, you know, and I could outdrink any 40-year-old at any party, anytime, you know, and I was proud of it too. My best friend was a stripper. I would get in a fight in school, and my mom was like, she was too afraid I was going to make her judgeship look bad, or, you know, make it to where people judged her, you know. So she would always be like, get out of my way, or get out of my hair, you know. And so I'd leave and I'd just go party. And so that's all I've known my whole entire life, you know. It went from smoking a little bit of weed to doing cocaine to smoking meth to doing heroin. I was on heroin black for 6 years. And I just, you're always substituting something for something else, you know? You always think that you might be doing better because, hey, now I'm not on black. Well, I might not be on black, but I'm on blues. And at one point in time, I was smoking 60, 65 of them a day. You know, I was putting 5 on a tray when one's killing people, you know? Yeah. I could smoke one in one hit.
That's crazy, man.
But at the same time, like, you know, I've done good. Like, I graduated high school when I was 15. You know, I have college credits, like, you know, I'm a go-getter, but, like, I don't know if I'll ever get out of this just because it's always been a part of my life, you know. It's always been, like I said, you might...
So you started this crazy shit at 11?
At 11 years old, yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. You didn't have a father growing up?
My father, he always tried to be the best of dad. He always, you know, wanted me to live with him so bad, and he lived in Arizona, and I hated Arizona because it was so hot. You know, I hated the thought of even coming here for the summers. I didn't want to be here. And, he always wanted to put me in like horseback riding classes and swimming lessons or something to educate myself or to make myself better in some type of way, you know. But I could do whatever I wanted with my mom. I could party, I could smoke, I could, you know, take her cigarettes. I know she knew I was taking her cigarettes when I was 9 years old or something, you know. But I could always just get away with anything I wanted, and so.
And she was a judge.
And she was a judge.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so. That's what I chose, you know. Definitely, I think about it. My dad's dead now, but I think about it all the time, how different my life would probably be now. I have 2 kids that I let him raise, or I left him with them just because I know how hard he tried for me to have a better life, or for me to become, you know, good at and have talents. You know, my daughter, she just won first place out of 150 contestants at Disneyland for dancing. That's something I could never provide for her, you know. But even if I could, people wouldn't give me the dare chance, you know. It's like I'd go visit my kids and they felt like they had to be there guarding me or something. Like, like, you know, if I was gonna, you know, harm my kids, or because I was on drugs, maybe touch my kids or allow somebody to touch my kids for drugs or something like that. And like, they got shit so twisted, you know, just because that's what they did, you know, as a good citizen or a good Samaritan, or you know, or whatever in their life. Like, you know, I think the guilt was um, scared of me possibly doing it, you know. But like, to have people, you know, right there when you're visiting your kids. I want my kids to jump in bed with me and watch a movie, you know what I mean? And I want to wrestle around with them, and I want to, you know, I mean, just because I'm on drugs doesn't make me a bad person, you know.
How old are your kids now?
12 and 10.
Do you still keep in contact with them or not?
It's kind of a shitty situation. My dad was dying, and I went to go visit him, and they didn't let me see him, and I couldn't understand why. And it was the first time in my life that I wasn't allowed on my dad's property, that I was told I had to leave, and I didn't understand why. Well, it's because he was dying, and they didn't want me to know that, because, excuse me, they didn't want me to have a head start on, you know, being able to possibly get my kids back, or whatever, you know. And so what they did was they put a thing in the paper, which I don't live in Arizona, so I had no idea, you know, that it was in the paper, but that there was a court date. And well, I missed the court date. Like I said, I don't read the newspaper. And so they got custody, and got custody of my kids for it, and left me as that I abandoned them. But only if they knew if I had my kids, I'd be striving.
Of them the system does right now?
No, my cousin, my billionaire cousin, you know, like.
Are they living a good life at least?
They are, you know. My cousin's very wealthy lady, very smart, very intelligent. Okay. And like I said, probably could, you know, offer him a life that I could never offer him, you know. But like, only if they knew how much, you know, if they would just, you know, give me as a drug addict a chance or whatever, that could be possibly the difference that makes the difference in my life, you know. It makes me come off drugs, but until then, I mean, shit, I ain't got nothing to live for, you know.
Well, I'm pretty sure they'll come looking for mom when they turn 18. That's what happens all the time.
Hopefully. But what, to see me like this? To see me as a drug addict and he did nothing with my life and abandoned him all these years for what? To be high, to have a horrible memory. Like, I quit introducing myself to people because they're like, what are you talking about? Like, we used to hang out for like 6 months, and I'm like, I had no recollection of who the fuck they are, you know, like, that's not right. Like, I sit here all the time and I see these crazy people that talk to themselves, that do weird things, you know, and it's like, is it the heat that does that to them, you know? Because even like people back home, like, they're on drugs, but they don't act like that, you know. But like, I just think it's a combination of everything. But, you know, you lose your memory, and I don't know. Just a perfect example. 2 days ago, okay, I went to go turn myself into rehab, to detox. And, you know, first time as being an opiate addict that I've been trying or willing to do it by myself. And it's only because my old man's getting out of prison, and I want to give him a chance, because if he messes up again, they're going to give him a life sentence. And I want to give him the chance to at least be clean this time, because I wasn't completely there for him, you know, like I should have been, because I was high. But I went in there, and they told me that they wouldn't have a bed ready until the following day. Well, when you're a drug addict, like, and that decision's made in your head that you want to make that change, or you need help, and you go in and you walk in there that day or right now, like, then that's when you need that help, you know. It's right then. Like, why? Because tomorrow came, or the following day came, and guess what? I wasn't there to do it, you know, because I didn't have it in my mind. I didn't have it. And I know that, you know, to a sober person that doesn't make much sense, but to any drug addict that's listening to this, or that, or whatever, they all know exactly what I'm talking about. When you want help, or when you need help, you need it then, you know, not later. You need it when you decide you want it, and it's got to be available for you to have it. Or you never know when you might want to try again. It could be years. It could, you know. But yeah.
Have you ever gone to detox and actually completed the program, or
jail?
Jail.
Mhm.
That was the only detox you had.
Yeah.
How long were you clean?
You know, when I was just on meth, one of the times my old man got out of prison, I stopped the day he had gotten out of prison, and I got a job, and we did good for 2 years. Um, you know, and one day I woke up and I saw a message on his phone and it said, "Hey babe, I have you have a good day at work." And so that was like the downfall of all that. And it's crazy because in 2 years, you know, you can lose everything that you worked hard for, or that you gained, or all the happiness that you acquired, or you know, just having our family be gone within 2 weeks, you know, of being high again. But I'm sorry, what was the question again?
If how long were you clean for?
Oh, okay. So as I've been an opiate addict, I detoxed in Texas jail, and you know, I sat there and watched crazy people before, and I'd always judge them, you know, and that's one thing that you should always, anything I've ever judged or looked down on somebody for, you know, I've either done, do, or I do now, you know, and so really, you know, not judge people, but I was clean for, besides the time I was in jail, 3 months, I'd say, and I was I had answers to questions. I had problems to solutions. Or, I mean, I had solutions. I did it backwards. I had solutions to problems. I had my mind back, you know. To where when I'm high, I'm just blank, you know. But in that 3 months, I felt like I could do anything I wanted to do in the world. I felt like I could conquer or become anything I wanted to become, you know. And then I got high.
You're still young. You can still do it.
The craziest part about it is I think it's too late.
You think so?
That's what I feel. But then, you know, I like to talk to people and I like to ask them, what were you doing when you were 34? You know, because I'll see how their life is now, and they'll be like, I was a stripper, and I'm talking about talking to a teacher or something. I'm like, what? You used to strip? You know, or like, you know, and it's just crazy on how much like people go through, and you're right, it's not too late, you know, but for some reason in my mind I feel like it is, you know, and I just got to keep
have a whole 40 years ahead of you. You know what I mean?
Hopefully if my drugs didn't affect that. But yeah.
All right, well, Della, thank you for this interview. I really do appreciate it. Are you okay with me using this on my YouTube channel?
Of course.
And just in case some of my subscribers want to reach out to you with any sort of help, donations, or just any kind words or anything like that, do you have any social media where they can contact you?
Della Dinsmore. That's it.
Is that an email?
My email's Della DELLA HDEZ87 @gmail.com.
All right, Della.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.